Hi guys! Some time ago we installed a small preformed garden pond in our garden. The main objective of it is to attract more wildlife to our garden and simply make it more diverse and interesting. We added some sand and rocks into the pond and we planted various water plants. With time we'll see which ones do better here than others and then we can plant more. The water was clear at the beginning, but that started changing quickly.
It will be a challenge to keep it clean somehow.
So today we will show you some natural methods that we tried to keep the water from getting green and being full of algae, because that's always the main concern. So let's get to it.
Here we are a few weeks later and of course the water is getting green. That's normal. So when you have a natural pond, it's always a fight between the algae and us. So there are methods. The algae grow because there are too many nutrients in the water. And what you want is to have as little nutrients as possible. And there are things that use nutrients in the water. For example, plants and other stuff. Tommy will explain everything.
We already put some bacteria in the water. They are supposed to compete with the algae for the nutrients, so that's already done. And now, the next step, we bought this special mineral. It's called zeolagoon.
Okay.
I don't know, zeolite, zeolite, zeolite.
Sounds cool.
So it's these little rocks. And we are going to put them in the water. I will start first here in the shallow water, which they recommended.
So the rocks are not going to eat the algae, but what is the process?
They are supposed to react with some elements in the water. I don't know exactly. We can read to you from the manual. But again, I think it creates worse conditions for algae in the water, so the algae won't like that it's in there.
Yeah, okay.
And they recommend 1 kilogram of this per 1 cubic meter of water, which is what we have. We have 1 cubic meter, which is 1000 liters, right? And we have 2 kilograms, so we have twice more than what we need. But we will put it all in.
Okay.
It doesn't hurt. They say it should also be decorative because it has nice color in the water.
It is. It looks kinda nice.
So we'll see.
That's a nice bonus.
It's supposed to be turquoise. I don't see turquoise, but maybe later in the cleaner water it will look nice. Okay. So I forgot to say that this mineral is volcanic, which is interesting. It'll be like Gran Canaria in our garden.
It will be, totally.
And it makes the water softer, which is what the algae don't like. They like hard water.
Okay.
The second product is also a mineral and it's also 100% natural. This one is called algae eater. I don't know what it is in reality, but it's some kind of mineral. And this one is very different. Look.
Okay, so rocks again. But the rocks will not actually eat the algae, I suppose.
No, I guess it'll be similar, like it eats something. Again, it changes, this one changes pH of the water. It makes it more acid, which apparently, again, algae don't like.
Okay.
And it removes some substances from the water. And I will not use all of it because it could change the pH quickly, and I think maybe the flowers would not like it, so you're supposed to do it in waves.
Okay.
So I'll just use like 1/3 of it or something now.
Yeah, we have to think of the plants.
You're just supposed to put it in the water. It will go down. Right now it's floating a little bit, but it will not float later. And the last thing for today is this plant. We already have plants inside, but this one doesn't need any soil. It just floats in the water. It doesn't create roots. It's called ceratophyllum. It's supposed to eat a lot of nutrients, and it also releases some kind of substance that slows down algae growth. So this is supposed to be 5 plants. They might spread very quickly, but we don't mind. I think we'll just put them here randomly.
Yeah, and they don't really go down, they float in the water, but not really on the surface.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens later.
I read on the internet that when the winter comes, at the end of autumn, they submerge to the bottom, where they survive, where they overwinter, and then in the spring they rise up again to the surface.
Cool.
And they spread very quickly. They might overgrow the whole pond, but we don't mind for now. Now we want a lot of plants to suppress the algae, and you can just mechanically remove them. And since they don't take roots, you can remove them easily. You just basically remove them from the water, and that's it.
The plants also use a lot of nutrients, so we planted quite a few of them, and here we can see first leaf of the water lily is on the surface.
And that wasn't there a week ago. That's
yes,
new.
It was fast, so that's cool. And less nutrients in the water means less nutrients for the algae. That's why it's great to have a lot of plants. With the garden pond, it's always the hardest at the beginning, because at the beginning everything needs to get established and we need to find the right balance. So we can see quite a few mosquito larvae and the algae are here, so it should get better over time. But at the beginning, you know, nature has to find its way and natural predators should come. We are all about nature and natural things in the garden, so there are no chemical filters and stuff like that. We just have this thingy. Today it's not working because it's solar. It's just like water is flowing and it makes now nice sounds.
It's a little fountain.
It's a little fountain, so that's it.
Another thing that algae like is warm water. So we also planted some decorative grasses here along the border from the south. So they would eventually grow, and when they're taller they will throw shade on the pond. So right now they are very tiny, so they don't work yet, but again we are in it for a long run, so eventually all these things should help create balance for the water.
And there is a tree also.
Yeah, there is a willow. I don't know what it's called in English, what kind of willow it is, but it's the one that flowers very early in spring and bees like them.
It's decorative in spring.
Yeah.
So it also should make the area shaded in the future, because that's the method to lower the temperature. You don't want direct sun on the water surface.
That's also why we have the water lily, so it would cover the surface of the pond, and again the sun won't go in the water then.
We also forget to mention that for now we don't want any fish, because they would poop in the water, and that also brings a lot of nutrients, and algae would love that. So we'll see later, when there is more balance and everything is established, then we can think about fish. But for now, it will stay without fish.
Fishless.
Fishless, yes.
We had a lot of soil from the hole that I dug up when I was digging up the pond. So we put it here on this pile and we made this wannabe rock garden. So it's just a pile of soil and I put some rocks in it. And yesterday I was planting some plants that like sunny, dry spots. And now it looks like this.
It's very pretty and interesting. So we'll see what survives here. This is in the testing phase, right?
Yep, it's just because I didn't want to move the soil elsewhere, like back in the barn or something, so I thought it would be nice to use it like this.
Yes.
Create a new element in the garden.
And you have a nice throne there on top of the mountain.
It's nice to sit by the pond and listen to the water.
Yeah, it's very relaxing, the sound.
And you can watch the garden at the same time.
Yes.
It's growing, overgrowing with grass.
Yeah, but the views are very nice. And we'll see how it looks when it's established.
Yeah. And there are still a few spots left, so I might buy a few more flowers.
Mm-hmm. Look at these irises. They are so beautiful. The colors are out of this world. I love them. These colors are really unique and oh my god, I am in shock every day I come here and see this. Sorry about the mess here. This will be gone today probably. Tommy is promising that he will take care of this. It's a lot of work, so the main work in this season, in these months of early summer, or what is it, late spring and early summer, it's always a big fight with the grass and it's growing so fast, so we are mowing constantly and yeah, it's not easy to keep up with everything. But that's how it is in such a big garden. Guys, this is so beautiful. Tommy worked his magic and look at the place now. It's amazing. Oh my god, I love it here. It's so difficult to keep the grass under control and have it like this. but at least from time to time it has to be done, because otherwise the grass would be too tall and too thick and it would be even more difficult to mow it. So yeah, it has to be done, but it's a lot of work. That's why we are slowly planting shrubs and trees everywhere, because we don't need all these grass areas, the big areas. There still will be, but smaller and just here and there, and we want a lot of vegetation, so you don't need to mow. We also mulch quite a lot with grass clippings. That stops the grass from growing, at least for some time. Then it comes back, but it slows it down, and it's better when it's around the trees and shrubs, because it's not great when they are overgrown with tall grass and everything.
This is our package of pond bacteria. We already applied a starting amount, like, I don't know, several weeks ago, and you're supposed to add more at least once a month to keep the balance in the pond. These bacteria, they are very hungry and they eat a lot of nutrients from the water, which means less nutrients for algae. So they are basically a competition for the algae. That's why we keep adding them.
Yeah, because algae mean green water.
Yeah,
As you can see,
like this.
like this. It looks kinda nice now, but you don't want to have green water.
We don't really mind that much, right? It's natural. We are not planning to swim in it, so it's not a big deal. But we want to learn how to work with the water and see if we can prevent algae natural way. So let me add some. It's about this much. So this little package will last us for the whole year at least. And I should take some of the water from the pond. Put the bacteria in. Stir it a little bit with something that's not metal.
Okay, so the metal would kill the bacteria?
Yeah. And then we just put it back in the water. There. And now our babies can eat all the nutrients.
When I was reading your comments, guys, a lot of you are afraid of mosquitoes when people have garden ponds. We saw a few mosquito larvae, but they somehow disappeared, and we are observing quite a lot of various insects in the water, and they eat the mosquito larvae. So that's nice. We are not afraid. Mosquitoes are not a big problem here. We don't have that many in the area, and even if some of them would hatch, not big amounts. The countryside is so big here, our garden is so big, they would just spread, and there are so many predators. There are swallows flying everywhere and other birds, bats in the evening, and it's totally okay regarding the mosquitoes.
And we can see, since we put all the plants in the water a couple of weeks ago, most of them are growing. This got much bigger, this one, but also the water lily already has 3 leaves on the surface of the water, and it didn't have any. It was really tiny.
Yeah.
It only had like these big leaves at the bottom. So that's really cool. We are also anxiously waiting for the grasses we planted here to grow. They are still very tiny, obviously, so they are not creating any shade for the pond. But for example, this one seems quite nice. And of course, there's a lot of weeds growing everywhere in the meantime, so it'll be an interesting fight.
Yeah, fight with weeds, as always.
Guys, we've just arrived back from the city at our country house, and the water looks completely different than it did last time. It was so green from algae, and you know that we tried many different things, natural things, to make it cleaner, and it says that it should take several weeks for it to work. But I didn't expect that from week to week it would suddenly become so clear. We can see the bottom, we can see everything inside the water. It's amazing. I didn't expect that natural things would work so well.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And how many leaves do we have of this water lily?
It has 5 leaves already. Each week there is a new leaf basically.
Yeah, so cool. Wow.
Amazing. And a lot of wildlife living inside the water. You can see a lot of insects moving in there. And the mosquitoes disappeared already, I think, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
There's no
and
sign of them.
there are none.
Yeah. The plants are growing. Some of them are doing better than others. For example, the iris got so much bigger since we planted it. And this one is flowering, whatever it is. And even some of the grasses, this grass is flowering.
Yeah, this is the
That one
same
as well,
one.
yeah.
And here it's clearly visible.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's cool. But I really can't from the clear water. That is absolutely amazing. And we didn't expect it to be clear so soon.
Yeah.
So it's a great discovery that it's doable, and not only doable, but it's doable quite easily. We'll see later what happens, but now I feel very good about this.
I expected this to be more difficult.
Me
And I've seen
too.
a dragonfly flying
Yeah,
here as well.
yeah,
so
so-
everything is finding the water.
As you can see, a lot of weeds are here. I will take care of this somehow. I am not good at weeding. That's usually Tommy's job, and he does it. So this will be my job, and we are going to plant clover here because something would grow here either way. So we thought clover would be nice, and we will spread a lot of seeds here, and we'll see.
We are really curious about how it will go with the pond. For now, we've been enjoying it and we like walking around it every day to see what's changing. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you liked the video, and see you guys next time. Bye!